Okay. Hey guys, thank you so much for joining me tonight. I am really excited to host this call with you. Tonight's call is going to be on the topic of facing your demons, and that's with the intention of coming to an understanding of them and growing from them. So this isn't just about, focusing on the negative. It's finding the positive in the negative. When you're facing the light, just you're standing in a field, you're looking at the sun. There's always going to be the shadow behind you, right? You're not going to see that darkness that's behind you, but it's still there. It's still a part of you. So the basic philosophy behind tonight's workshop is that we're trying to experience ourselves as a whole in order to grow, even though we want to be positive minded and we want to do what's going to ultimately reduce suffering. We have to have a fuller understanding of ourselves in order to make that happen. So yeah, I just wanted to say, if we're hiding from ourselves, it's not really loving ourselves, right? This whole thing was inspired by a comment made on last week's call by Haley, when she said that her idea of self-love meant facing the parts of yourself that make you uncomfortable, the parts that you're afraid of, and sitting with them. So I'm saying, if we're not willing to look at our entire self, then are we really loving ourselves? Is what we're loving really us, or just the part of us that we want to see and know? So I'm not going to try to draw this out for too long with this introduction. I just want to explain what the purpose of it is. So sorry about that, but let's see. So yeah, it's the parts of us that we're afraid of. They're no less a part of us just because we're ignoring it. It's still there. It's still part of the bigger picture. And it's also often very different than what we expect. A lot of the time we think that we're scared of something because it's going to impact us in a certain way. But then when we actually see it for what it is, the lesson that it brings us and the impact that it has on our life is a completely different story. What we're really afraid of is just the expectation. So also something that Nastasia said to me before was that resonated with me on this topic was the good news in all of this is that we create all of our negativity. Everything that is within us is a product of our own creation. So because it's our own creation, we don't have to really be afraid of it, because it's a part of ourselves to begin with. It's something that we're able to overcome and to grow from and understand. I truly believe that when we're in alignment with the truth and we see everything as a whole, that all of these things truly aren't to be feared. They're just to be understood. So the last thing I'm going to say before we really get into this is I'm going to try to format this based off of a Buddhist practice. It's called the rain method. And I just want to remind everybody that as we try to go through this, that we want to look at these things without judgment. I know it can be hard, and nobody's forcing you to share more information than you want to. It's just that the more you're willing to give, the more you're going to get out of it. But you don't have to judge these parts of yourself. We all have that shadow side. So the RAIN method is 4 parts. There's R for recognize, A for allow or accept, I for investigate, and N for non-identify. So recognize is simple, right? You have to recognize what it is within you that you're feeling, and just see that part of yourself. And like, let's say you have something, for me, that I've always struggled with is the social anxiety, right? So in order for me to work on that, I have to identify it. I have to say, okay, I have social anxiety, because if I don't, which goes into the next part, allow or accept. If you don't accept this, well, if you don't know it, you can't accept it. And if you don't accept it, you can't work on it. So that goes to the R and the A. Then we go into investigate. This is really the bulk of what the process is going to be. You want to know what is causing it. So I guess I'm talking about social anxiety as my example. It's not just, oh, I'm scared of what this person thinks of me, right? I have to dive a little deeper into that. I have to say, why am I afraid of what others can judge me? Why am I giving them this power over me? And then it really can be traced back to more of a lack of confidence in my own ability to manifest what I want in life, or my own ability to make judgments and form my own values of what's going to give my life value. So that's just a quick example. And then once we're done with that, there's the non-identification. Coming to understand that these things don't define you, because not only is there more to you, but as we all are, we're extensions of everything, right? We're a manifestation of a perspective, but that perspective is just a piece of everything. We really extend into the entire universe, because we have the potential to be every single person who ever have lived within us. We're just choosing from our current perspective in life to be in the time and place that we are in right now. So you don't have to identify with these things that you're afraid of. You don't have to identify with your demons, because even if they're a part of you, they're part of all of us, and you're not only so much more than that, but everything itself. So I shared about my social anxiety. I can talk a little more about that if you guys would like, or maybe we can save that for the end. But I guess at this point we can just open it up to other callers, or not other callers, other people who are on the team, and we can try to apply this method. And anybody who has feedback or ideas, you just see where it goes from there. So Martin, I don't know if you have anything you want to say.
Wow, amazing. And social anxiety, when you mentioned that, I was like, social anxiety, what? Like, what? Are you serious? I don't see it. You're doing amazing on this call right now.
Thank you.
And it's important to bring up things like this, right? And knowing that we do have whatever the shadow self, right? That's our also can either be also can be like our subconscious mind, our other self, that voice in the head that just like always wants to throw fear and worry in our minds and stuff like that on. But it's important to embrace it and go from it, right? But I would like actually, hold on, let's see. We have Nick Box on the line. Oh, bro, that's crazy. I didn't even see you for a second. I was like, oh shit, he's right here. Cool. Excuse my language. But yeah, so we're pretty much, guys, like this is gonna be a call and where like I would love to have it like an open discussion. I know some of us are, we may be shy. Maybe we don't want to share anything about anything about our lives, because like, who are these people, right? But just know that this is an environment and where, we felt like it was something, number one, it was positive, something that we can grow and exchange value, from, the words being spoken here and us sharing our stories and our voices. And also makes us kind of like, step outside of our comfort zones, because that's the only way, we can grow as well. So I would like to keep this, kind of open, but, so Melanie, what is your question to, what is your question that you would like, to us to answer? So as I kind of get something going right now.
So I guess to begin, we have to start with the R, right? That's the recognize. So if anybody wants to share what is something that they're facing, what one of their demons are, we'd start with the recognition, and then we can all help each other work through that, through the acceptance, the investigation, and the non-identification.
All right, can you repeat that one more time? So it's recognition, it's the acceptance.
Yes, so recognize, and then allow or accept, then investigate, and then non-identify.
Okay, awesome.
So I don't know if anybody would like to go first. Like I said, I elaborate on my anxiety, but it's up to you guys really. If anybody wants to share, I'd love to start with that.
Yeah, I can share one thing that really like held me back in the beginning, it was anxiety. I would have social anxiety, and I always felt like I might have had been an introvert in the beginning, and then I kind of like stepped outside the box and kind of like, wait, hey, like I have a say in this world, in this thing we call life. I've done my fair share of like, of seeking information that I can help the average Joe, the average person. But once I built that confidence, just through my awareness of understanding new things and everything like that, I was like, hey, like, okay, here I am, I'm vegan now, and now I just, now I don't just see it just for me and for my just impact, but I can share this with others, and I can have others, understand this as well, and that therefore we can all make the world a better place, right? As cliche as that sounds, but these cliche sayings have a lot of meaning, right? So I saw that, and where public speaking was not no longer like a huge obstacle, because I felt like what I had to say, and I see it right here with you, Melanie, with the social anxiety. Like I definitely see it, because because I felt like, you given this platform, you have you have something where you can channel your anxiety into something positive, channel that whatever that passion, you can just, we have something right here tangible, right? It's perfect for all of us to grow. So once I found veganism, once I found like an entrepreneurship, once I found optimal hydration, and this a message to give to the average person to change their life, because it's changed my life and others. Then I was like, hey, you know what? Like I gotta keep putting myself out there. I gotta keep, sharing my voice, because I can inspire maybe upon others that, hey, you know what? We can share our voice as well. So then it no longer became about me. And it's like I have this message, and I have to give it to people. I have to share with people, because if not, they're gonna go through a lot of pain and misery. That's just like kind of the intention, right? Because if I do, then they'll get a lot of pleasure, and they'll have an everlasting benefit in their life, right? So that's kind of like what I was driven off of. But I'd like to pass the mic off to somebody else as well. If maybe let me see who should I call? Let me see. Can I call?
Yo, yo,
Hey, my boy. Let's go, baby.
yo, Bart, what's up?
What's good, bro? You just got on the call, or you?
Yeah, I got on like 10 minutes ago. My bad. I didn't mean to just jump right in.
Oh no, it's good, bro. It's cool. I was just opening up the floor for anybody who want to share.
No, yeah, absolutely. I got in like just when Melanie was ending and talking about anxieties and everything like that. And I just wanted to like share like my little quick tidbit about my anxieties as well, because I also have a lot of like social anxiety, and it's something that I'm struggling with right now. But I read this post, and I'm sure a majority of you guys read it too, where it says that depression is you living in the past, anxiety is you living in the future. So it's like we put ourselves in these mind states. So it's like social anxiety with me is it's just like being in a group of people, and like just like feeling all their energies. And I feel like anxiety is something that you have to struggle with when you're an empath. So if you're an empath, you're picking up on people's energies and like, identifying with them, like just bringing yourself well, not you attracting it, but just you picking up on it. Like sometimes it could just be anything, where like somebody's sitting in the corner alone by themselves, they have this look on their face, and it's like you pick up on it, you kind of know what it is, and you identify with it, and you just try to, ease that person into saying like, oh, look, hey, it's okay, I've been there before, and we can get through this. But I feel like that anxiety comes about when you're an empath even more, because there's so much energy and you're picking up so many things, and it's like with this group of people, they're expecting something from you, and you don't know what it is that they're expecting, and so it's like you don't know what to deliver, and all these things are going in your head, and you don't know what to. There's a lot of input, and you don't know how to flesh it out. But a friend of mine told me that the easiest way to ease that is to just be present, just be in the moment, be still, take everything in. A majority of the time, a lot of people are thinking about themselves and the image they're portraying, so they're not even worried about you. So it's like just being in the present moment. That's how I'm trying to work on that now, and that meditation helps for sure. Self-awareness, of course, just being still for a minute, and that stillness just bring serenity. But sometimes it's hard. You're living in the city. I know most folks are or in other states and stuff like that. But just me growing up in the city, it's like everything is a hustle and bustle. So you have all these different energies, and that really affects you. So it's a hard thing to deal with. But speaking of demons, I think Haley brought up something a couple of weeks ago, and she said something that really resonated with me, and it stuck with me because it was just so beautifully put. She said that if you run away from your demons end up running you. So sometimes you just got to stay there and just accept them. Invite them in. Say thank you for showing up. Thank you for your concerns. Like, what's going on? I'm not gonna be this person. I'm vibrating on love. So it's just a matter of just gently telling them, step off. you know
Yeah, that was great, and you actually reminded me of something that I meant to mention in the beginning of the call, and that is, like you're saying, we should thank our demons. It's these parts of us. They're not there just to hurt us, right? They're there because there's something in ourselves that we're neglecting, that we're not paying attention to. It's a voice within us that's saying, "Hey, you're not listening to what I want, and without listening to what I'm trying to tell you, you're going to be incomplete." So I just wanted to say that. And also, as well as, I do want to open this both to experiences that'll help us grow, but also if anybody has any current anxieties that they'd like to work through. And I know that's a lot of pressure. So like I said, I can kind of dive into my anxieties more and try to understand the cause of them if you guys would like. But if we have anybody who has anything that they're trying to work through, we can definitely all help each other work through them currently.
I'll go ahead. Wait, was somebody speaking?
Go ahead.
Was that you? No, Haley, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. This is really awesome. I want to say that, because I've been working with he's an energy healer, and he was telling me to like connect with a group of people who, where we can like relate on certain things that we're all struggling with. Like everyone's like, "Oh, you have social anxiety. I do too." Like we can all relate to these things. We all have these struggles. So I just want to say that it's awesome that like, that we're all able to talk about these things, and it is uncomfortable, but like, it's necessary. Let's see. I have such a long list of demons to work through. I would say one of my demons that I'm struggling with right now is just feeling so like insecure, right? Yeah, uncomfortable but necessary, totally. Just feeling like, and something that I was realizing is that I've learned to be insecure or feel insecure because it was like a defense mechanism against people who, because you know that Taylor Swift song that, she says people throw rocks at things that shine. So it was like a way for me to kind of like pull myself down to other people's level. And it's like this programming that I'm like working through because it doesn't serve anyone to be insecure. And it's something, I mean, I know we all have insecurities and we all like, have those things. So if you guys have any tips on that, like I really like, I'm a confident person in a lot of ways, but I'm also like, oh, I'm wearing it's a smoky amethyst. It recharges healers. My friend Kendra wrapped it. She's incredible. She's amazing. So, now I'm off track. I forgot what I was saying. Oh yeah. So like, I mean, I'm confident in a lot of ways, but there's other areas of my life where I'm not as confident. So that's something I want to work through. Like I want to be confident, like in business, especially. Like I want to be, when I'm calling someone and I'm like, I know this is the right thing to do. Like I know that we can help you in all these areas of your life. And that's where I'm kind of like getting like caught up. That's where I'm kind of like, and it's like kind of difficult. So yeah, so that's what I would say for me is something I'm dealing with. So if anyone has any tips or anything, that would be awesome.
Okay, so so the recognizing and the accepting part has already happened in you talking about that. But I guess what would come next in this process is investigating, right? We want to figure out what causes that. What is the root cause of that anxiety and that lack of belief in in your ability to just know that when you pick up that phone, that it's going to turn out the way that you want.
So, I would say growing up, I guess like the mindset, it was really kind of old fashioned in a sense that like my dad was the businessman and he had like kind of the mindset that women weren't, women were more of like the homemakers and like they would take care of the children and like they weren't, they didn't work on the house or do any of that stuff. Like it was kind of like you're a woman, like that's not your job kind of thing. So I feel like that might be kind of like where that comes from. And I always wanted to step out of that, but it wasn't something that was necessarily encouraged. And so like I said, it's something that I learned to like, I would project that I was insecure to kind of like bring myself down to where people like expected me to be. But like I always wanted to, be different or like do things differently. So I don't know if that answered your question at all.
Well, you said something that definitely brought a lot of insight into it, and that was the bringing yourself down to meet other people's expectations, right? It's so that's like kind of like the next step forward. Why do you feel that you have to meet other people's expectations?
Ooh, this is deep, guys. Oh my goodness. Okay, so dang. So I feel like it's something that I learned to do because if I didn't, then I wouldn't receive the love that I wanted. So like if I wasn't, adding up in a certain way or if I wasn't a certain way, like then I wouldn't get the love that I wanted because I wasn't meeting those expectations. Ooh, that is
Absolutely.
dang.
So when you say that, it kind of comes down to almost a lack of knowing or an uncertainty of the fact that you deserve love, right? Because if you truly know in yourself that you deserve love, then if somebody else doesn't see that worth in you, then you know that that's because of their own perception and not yours. So I guess the only insight I really have left is that if if you know that you have that self-worth, then you don't have to give that power of judgment to other people. They can't tell you that you have that worth.
Absolutely.
And I don't
Thank
know if
you.
anybody, oh, my pleasure. I don't know if anybody else has anything they want to put in that. I have a final, we can get to the end of rain but I'd like to let anybody else give any insights if they have any.
Sure. What helped me out with my insecurities too was just diving into self love. Like you said, we so people have expectations of us. So my insecurities came from like where people tell me, "Oh, Kevin, you have so much potential. You could do this," or I could see you doing this, and that. So I went ahead and pursued those things because I thought like, okay, yeah, people see this potential in me that I didn't see for myself. So now I'm trying to open up all these doors, but they led nowhere. I'm just trying to meet other people's expectations. So at the end of the day, I let them down. I was just really hard on myself. But self-love makes you bulletproof because it's like, okay, you have your expectations. I have mine. I don't have to meet yours and you don't have to meet mine. I have to meet my own expectations. So just that's what helped me. Self-love just I feel like most people, on this call in the group all together are experiencing that or, doing that in their own way. But that's what definitely helped me. It makes you bulletproof, and
Yeah.
everyone's taking shots, it's just the world that we're living in. People are so into themselves, they project all these negative things onto other people so they think that other people are negative, but it's really not the case.
I love that. That's so true. That I've been doing a lot of self-reflecting, and what you said about, you know, other people saying like, oh, you have so much potential, like you'd be great at this or you'd be great at this, and then you like pursue that because you're like, oh, like I could do this. But it's like at the end of the day, it like I've been realizing that I have all this pressure on myself because I'm trying to meet all of these expectations of other people, feeling like, you know, I need to take care of like, you know, for instance, like the finances for my entire family. Like I took that responsibility on for myself, you know? And so then it's like, and then it's like this huge weight of like, holy shit, like that's a lot of pressure, you know, to like be that person that creates that change. And so yeah, that makes complete sense. So I just have to adjust and you know, give myself that love, even though other people may not see it or understand it or whatever, because of their own things, you know.
Absolutely. Yeah, and that's the thing. It's their own things. It's like it's things that they're creating, and they want to make us subject to it. But it's like we never asked for it to begin with. It's like when we're kids. You know, when we're kids, no one is expecting anything from us. You know, if we're anywhere from like 3 to 8 years old, they're thinking, okay, they're gonna go play. We want to make sure that they're well behaved, that they're not doing anything crazy. Cool. But you have such more of a sense of freedom when you're a child because there are no expectations. You know, it's like you don't care about what you're wearing, you don't care about how your hair looks, you don't care about what you're saying, doing, because it's like there's no judgment cast upon you. It definitely gets harder as you get older, you know, because it's like it's the way society is socially engineering us. But yeah, it all goes back to self-love. It just all goes back to love. It's crazy how like that's the root, like that's the ultimate answer for everything.
Yeah, totally. Awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Of course, thank you.
No, I love it. I love it, Kevin. Thank you for shining that light, brother. Haley, thank you for sharing that. Yeah, I feel like that's important. We have this huge ambition, this huge self love for ourselves, and just love in general for others as well. We want to smile all the time. We want
Yo,
to.
it's kind of hear you, bro.
So what? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I thought it was just me.
Can you guys hear me?
A little bit
Now I
better.
can.
All right, cool. How about now?
You're good.
Consistently, I'm just gonna keep talking. Can you guys hear me now?
You're good. You're good.
Because I see the microphone, the levels is like lower than usual. I don't know if you're still having that problem, but
Your phone, I mean your computer, for some reason it always is like a little bit lower on yours than the others.
wow. Well, good thing I have a warranty on this thing right here. Yeah, so I mean, like I was saying, like that inner child in us, right? Like we tend to you know, lose that. Society tends to kind of like, you know, eat away at it, and we then forget who, you know, who we truly are, and our deepest desires, and what we truly want to accomplish for ourselves. And we just have this identity crisis because here we've been into these different camps of indoctrination, and where like, all right, well, I was taught to raise my hand and not bump into people's shoulders and get it my way. It was always their way or the highway, or detention and stuff like that. So that whole is like that whole like, you know, really expressing yourself and self-love. Like that's, we're going through like an epidemic right now as we speak. And, you know, a lot of people are realizing that like, hey, like, damn, like our leaders have failed us. Like they're not so right. Or if they are trying to be right, then, you know, they really can't, because they're following a certain agenda. But, you know, the power is, like I always say, I feel passionate about this, is it's coming back to the, you know, the hands of the people. And it's people like us that we're always going to keep that stuff strong. But Melly, yo, that's awesome. You know, the rain method is really important. And Haley, to you know, with sales and stuff like that, I know in the past, you know, generation with generation, you know, I guess the woman figure, she would always have to be home and be with the kid and cook and do all this stuff. And society has that expectation of the woman, and then they learn, you know, then they then develop more rights for themselves and for you guys. And, you know, now it's like when women rise up into their potential, when like, hey, you know what, like, damn, like you know, like this is you know, this is a girl's world, right? Like you know, y'all are goddesses, y'all are creators, you know, and we help with that, but you know, because of y'all, you know, we're here, right? So I think that the greatness with just women have been stripped away, and that's like with, you know, their agenda as well, right? But of course, we, you know, we have a vehicle that we're all you know, taking advantage of to empower that, you know, that other woman or that other man to step into their greatness. But yeah, guys, I'm just excited. Mike's down. Anybody who wants to share it, because I feel like I'm rambling on right now.
Nah, bro, no rambling. And it's crazy how you were mentioning about goddesses, because in back to our conversation about, like, you know, how Africa is so big. In ancient Egypt, women were revered as goddesses. You know, like they were queens. You know, they ruled the nation without men questioning it or whatever. They fell under that rule. It's just Western civilization that came and screwed everything up. You know, women. I feel like in order to give, you know, birth, like, you know, manifest the spiritual into the physical, you know, that takes a lot of strength. You know, like I can't even imagine what that's like or anything like that. So I mean, if, you know, women just in general have that kind of strength in order to manifest physical, you know, it's the possibilities are endless. So, you know, it's just crazy how we don't think that way in society.
That's totally it. It's kind of crazy how for so long the world has been like hyper masculine, and so that's why there's like so much war and fighting and all of this kind of like this dense energy. And so now balance is rising, and we're bringing that, like, we're bringing that back to the world, you know, bringing the balance back. And so women are really starting to find, like, we're finding our power again. And it's not just women, like it's men finding the feminine within themselves, and they're bringing that balance back to themselves as well, because we all have masculine and feminine energies within us. So like if a man treats a woman poorly, it's not necessarily anything to do with the woman. It has to do with him not being able to relate and be okay with the feminine energies within himself, right? So
Absolutely.
and vice versa, right? So that's like where we're going as a society, is we're finding that balance again, and we're empowering the divine feminine again. So yeah, this is awesome. Melanie, this is a great idea. I am so grateful for this right now.
Hey guys, really quick, I actually hopped on late. I just got out of the personal conversation I was having. There was a bit about the compliment beginning, but I hopped on right when I heard someone saying, at the end of the day, self-love is the root of everything, which is really wild that I hopped on right when y'all said that, and then talked about the inner child, because that's basically a simple and obvious realization I've come to recently. It's like, at the end of the day, any pain that we go through in terms of, you know, comparing ourselves to other people or not feeling good enough to step up to the plate to do certain things, whatever it is, at the end of the day, the root solution to that is self-love. And to be honest, self-love is our birthright. That's one of the things I wanted to say. Another thing that I wanted to say is, Kevin and Martin, I appreciate you guys so much, because I genuinely feel respected by you guys. I feel like y'all understand the value of women, because, you know, the brutalization of women has been an ongoing thing for God knows how long now. And although it should be a normal thing that men view women in that way, right now it's not the popular thing. And so to me, that just means so much that you guys see the value in us in that. And so I wanted to verbally let you know that I personally really appreciate that. So yeah, Mike's down.
Logan, appreciate you. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, you're good.
Awesome. Logan, I appreciate you. Thank you for hopping in. I just want to also welcome Hey Melvin, I don't know if you can hear me, but I just got your text. You said you don't know how to work a thing, work this thing. Are you good? Can you hear me?
Hear me though.
Oh,
Can you
we're
hear me?
good. Yes, we hear
Yeah.
you 100%, brother. Welcome, man. Welcome
Awesome.
to the call. So Melanie, can you pretty much share what we're discussing tonight, what we're sharing tonight for those who just hopped on just right now?
Absolutely. So yeah, for anybody who's just joining, tonight we're just doing a workshop that is based on facing your demons, all the things in you that are uncomfortable, that bring up, fear, whatever it is that when we're facing the light leaves that shadow behind us that we're not looking at. We want to learn to love ourselves fully and see. In order to do that, we need to see ourselves for the light and for the shadow, to really understand what our demons are asking of us and how we can grow from facing them. So what I'm asking for people to do is, and you're also welcome to just tell a personal story of overcoming something as well, if that's more comfortable. Nobody's forced to share more than they want to here.
No.
But if you have anything that you're currently dealing with that you want to work through, we're all here committed to bettering each other. And if you're willing to share, then you opening up will also benefit everybody else and possibly inspire other people to open up as well. And when you do, we can all together try to understand what it's actually stemming from and then grow from that. So yeah, if anybody has anything that they want to share that they'd like to work through, please.
In other words, this is a free Anthony Robbins convention right here, right live. And we got this recorded. We could probably just sell this thing for like 5 G's. I don't know, guys. What do you guys think? Nice profit out of it. No, I'm joking. No, it's all love, guys. We're not talking anything about nothing business. This is just life. This is life and fundamentals and key principles to follow to better ourselves. 'Cause at the end of the day, I by myself, I can only harness so much knowledge and embrace my power. But with you guys, with other people that think like me, who wants more like me, then we can then we can be powerful. I can be powerful with that. We can all do it. 10K, let's double that. You know what I mean? Yeah, I feel you, bro. I think 10K sounds legit. Sounds better. But all right, so guys, I would love to leave the mic down, and for those who are listening in and who are engaged right now, to chime in and share your story.
Well, I just wanted to I guess kind of get it back on to with our dealing with our demons and whatnot, and then the solution to, for me personally, one of my biggest issues with dealing with my demons and combating them is myself, with ego. And it's honestly, it's even hard for me to just say that right now, because I consider myself a humble person. I consider I'm all about humility and kind of taking a step down even from positions of power sometimes. But I do recognize and I do acknowledge that at times I definitely let my ego get in the way of my purpose and the task at hand and my goals, whether they be for the day, the month, the year, 10 years from now. I acknowledge them and I definitely see it. And what's been helping me personally to overcome them when I do acknowledge them and I see it is remembering what my why is. That's what drives me. My purpose and my passion in life is everything that I am. So for that, I don't want my a singular sense of me getting in the way of that, getting in the way of my mission, why I'm here. So it kind of grounds me and brings me back down to reality in a sense, where my ego gets popped, I guess. You get big headed, and I put the needle, or I put the pin to that balloon, which is my head, myself, and I kind of have to check myself. But just in the sense of me admit that, it's kind of wow, I kind of like criticize others when they do the same. I'm a hypocrite because I'm doing the same myself. I'm guilty of it. But at the same time, I'm gonna grow from it because I acknowledge it and I understand that. And the only way I can grow from that is by understanding the issue and then working on it, and then in an efficient manner. Which said, my why is so great and so powerful, and it's something that drives me so much that nothing else will get in my way, not even my own self. Um, so that's, for me personally, that's just what's been helping me in that regard.
Okay, so that's great that that you've already been able to find ways of working through that. Like, you know, like we said before, self-love is really kind of at the root of all of the healing. I guess if you are still trying to work through that, or if you're looking for like the investigation, I would ask, what is the ego asking of you, right? Like, what is it, why is it that you feel the need to have that? Because understanding what its purpose is would probably be very helpful as well. If I'm making sense, right?
Yeah, and it's just like something like it's.
You gotta dig deep and really ask yourself, I
Yeah,
guess.
I don't know. I guess it's like the inner me just trying to win short-term battles, not thinking about the long-term war. Like I just want to like have a momentary victory just because it's like fulfilling, I guess. And
So what I would ask at that point, what's fulfilling about it, right?
it's just like that momentary, I don't know, I guess it's like that momentary pleasure where like it's gratifying, even like no matter if it's like harmful verbally or emotionally to others, and it's just like all about me in that moment.
So why does it feel good? At
Because I
least for a moment.
because I win, like especially like when engaging in dialogues and back and forth discussions, I win the argument, so I win at life temporarily for that minute, that moment in time. So it's like,
So a need to win is kind of like saying, hey, I have this power, right? It comes down to power. So are you acknowledging, or like you said, when you were saying what helps you is remembering your purpose. Perhaps the reason that it helps you to remember your purpose is because that helps you realize that you have power without comparing or subjecting anybody else. It's already a part of you. It's already inherently who you are, is a powerful human being, and you don't need to prove that by asserting yourself over anybody else. You can be powerful and allow everybody else in the world to have power as well. As if you still have that power and it's truly yours, you'll always have that.
yeah, I think it's like me kind of like fighting myself.
Absolutely. I mean, at least I can really relate to ego. I do feel like it's something that is on some levels beginning to dissolve for me, but for very much of my life, I felt just completely unable to connect with other people because my ego was so inflated. It was like I didn't even care. I didn't even want to acknowledge the value that other people could bring me. It was just like, what value can I bring others? And it's like, at least in my experience, it's like now that I'm finally not only just being open to what other people are able to offer me, but and like also having just such incredible people coming to me as a result of that. It's like I know that I'm train of thought got a little thrown right there for a second, but I'm talking about ego, and I'm saying when I open myself up to others, I realize that I can only really connect to and have value for others when I'm able to not try to be above them or think about only how I'm benefiting them, right? It's like I can't benefit them until I realize that it's completely a two-way street, that we both have power, that we both need to acknowledge each other's power, because we can't really grow if we don't have that connection. So that's how, at least how I personally relate to what you shared. And thank you very much for sharing that, because that was very insightful.
Yeah, I just like with what you just said, like there was I forget where I got it from or who I got it from, but it was a quote. I think it was from one of these motivational speakers, but they said, um, "Seek first to understand. Only then can you be understood." And like when I heard that, and I saw it, I was, as cliche and as simple as it sounds, it's so profound, and it goes so far. Can be applied to pretty much everything and all principles, all different aspects of life and everything. Like, and especially with what you were just saying. So that was just something I wanted to share with that.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.
Does anybody else have anything they would like to work on?
Yeah, I want to share something. Something that I've dealt with in my own life is blame shifting. Whether I like putting the blame for situations in my life on other people, like especially my father, being that my parents separated at a young age for a long time. Um, I've blamed him for my own shortcomings and insecurities in life, and even like at this moment we're not on a speaking basis because I feel like I've projected on him some standards that are not they're not realistic. So I project these unrealistic standards on him knowing that he can't live up to that because I know that if I set the bar high for him, I'm going to have the opportunity to blame him for something or to critique him. So I have this unrealistic like view of something that I know he cannot reach, or like even in situations where I've had a job where it was bad business, I was just so eager to have something to blame on them, and for them not being punctual and not being organized, when in reality, even though I was not doing bad business, I was not being punctual, I was not being organized. So something that I've been learning is to take 100% responsibility for the things that happen in my life, and that's a really hard pill to swallow, because I kind of grew up with that like mentality, like the last person's fault is my fault. It's never my fault. It's always circumstantial or somebody else just to take the responsibility off my back. So it's an ongoing process. I definitely have to face those demons. It's not a if, it's I have to face those demons, because then like when you live your life like that, you can't really be in balance. You can't be in balance because how are you going to be in balance when you're putting the weight of your problems on other people, right? So that's something that I'm still dealing with, but I know that taking responsibility for what happens in my life is going to be essential um in me being successful in that aspect.
Absolutely. So, for so many of these, I'm just asking, why? Like, what is the cause of that? But you already kind of answered that. You're saying it is not the reason you'd blame other people would be not wanting to take responsibility for the own things in your life. I guess if we were to try to dive a little deeper into that, the question always is just why again, right? Why are you having, or why did you feel like you had trouble taking responsibility? Is there something in yourself that you feel like if you take responsibility that you have to face?
Yeah, facing my own shortcomings, you
Okay.
know really looking in the mirror, um and saying, okay, I'm lacking in this A, B, C, and D. So if I'm critiquing other people, I'm not critiquing myself. If I could point at A, B, C, and D persons, and look at their shortcomings. I'm not looking at my own. You know, I can't improve myself. You know, it's gonna be too hard to put myself through the fire, so I'll just put everyone else through the fire. You know, but
Absolutely.
that's really why. That's the core reason of it. Of
So I guess all I'd have to say to that, because that was really full of insight, and you've already done half the work of the questions that I would ask yourself. It seems like you're pretty far into the process of delving into that. I guess the only insight I would have to share towards that is that when you judge yourself, it's kind of looking at the shorter picture, right? Because when you say, oh, this is my shortcoming, it's your shortcoming so far, right? Like, all success comes from persistence. So it's really, once again, going back to that self-love, is loving yourself enough to say, maybe I had this shortcoming this time, but I believe in myself enough to know that if I keep working forward, that next time I will, or maybe not next time, but eventually I will find myself where I need to be, because I have that inside myself already.
Thank you.
Anybody else want to share or provide insight to anything anybody said so far?
I just wanted to say that I love. Oh, sorry.
You're good. Go ahead.
Okay. No, I just want to say I absolutely love this call. It's amazing. I truly appreciate everyone being super vulnerable and sharing, because that's not something easy that we all come by. Like, I love vulnerability, but sometimes I don't like expressing my own. That's just the truth. Like, I love hearing other people's, but when it comes to sharing my own, I'm like, I'll think about it. No, but one of them that I have trouble with is, and I realized I've had this, and it stemmed from when I was a kid, that like caring about what other people think, and allowing that to stop me from maybe achieving a goal, for going after something, for, whether if it was something super small or like really big or life changing. I allowed other people's like opinions of what I wanted to do with my life affect whether I did it or didn't do it. And how I was able to overcome that was just to realize that I don't need other people's validations, or, I mean, opinions are great because you get, if it's something stupid, then you obviously don't want to do it. You want to make sure, like, it's a great idea. But if it feels good for you, and if it looks crazy for someone else, because that's what it's looked like for me sometimes, where I have like, if this is a really great idea, or this is something that I'm really, really passionate about, and I'll tell someone something and they kind of like rain on it a little bit, I'll allow their opinion to like really put that down and not allow me to go any forward. Like, I'll allow myself to not go forward in it because I've allowed this other person's opinion about whatever it is that I wanted to do to stop me at that point. So yeah, recognizing that, and then changing like that narrative where it's like, no, I don't need anybody else's opinion. I don't need anybody else's, like, not, yeah, I don't need anybody else's opinion on it, because something that a friend of mine always told me, and it always resonates with me, is that like, no one is going to live my life for me. I live my life for myself. And if I want to do something, then I just got to do it regardless of what other people might think about it. So yeah, that's what I'm kind of like working through right now.
That was beautifully said. So I think that you touched upon something that there's kind of like a reoccurring theme. Like, even though we all have different stories and different demons, they all, or a lot of them are like, well, they do all ultimately stem from, right, that lack of self-love, but a lot of them have this overlapping theme I saw of giving other people power, right? So I feel like that is something that what you just shared touched upon. When we care what others think, especially to the point where it stops us from doing what we want, it's valuing their judgment above ours. This is actually something I face every single day. With some people more than others. It's like, I'll be in a room and it's so easy to watch like other facial expressions. Like I was just watching like a TED talk from a guy who's blind, and he was saying that in a way it was actually one of the greatest blessings to happen to him. And one of the reasons it was a great blessing was because he could no longer look at other people's facial expressions and reactions to the ideas that he proposed. So it just kind of goes to show, like, you know, the only reason that it wasn't affecting him anymore was because he wasn't looking for their approval. He wasn't looking for, you know, for what they were thinking. He still valued their input. He'd still ask for their opinions and take them into consideration, but it was no longer like something that was dictating how he felt about his own ideas. And once again, it comes down to that self-love. You know, do you love yourself and believe in yourself enough to know that, hey, like maybe we'll mess up here and there, right? Like, you know, none of us are perfect, but knowing that ultimately you're the only one who can really bring yourself to where you need to be. You know, nobody else can tell you what's best for you.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Wow, this is really incredible, guys. Like, thank you so much for allowing me to host. I know we're still not done yet. I just want to say, like, this is really an incredible experience to be able to be in the circle and be able to share techniques that I've learned with you guys. So thank you for just allowing me to be a part of this as well.
We're getting deep.
Does anybody have anything else they'd like to share or work on?
I would like to share something. Can you hear me? I'm not sure how this works.
Yes, sir. Melvin, we hear you, brother.
All right, awesome. So it seems like everyone is having facing a shadow time, or even a transformation, or perhaps even clearing out residue and consistently cleaning. Well, me and my solitude, most of my solitude, every single day I'm consistently cleaning out my mind, consistently cleaning anything that is residue or old, because this is something we live in. We live in this society where we have to consistently clean that and be mindful of that. Whether it's chanting, eating right, whatever, be mindful of each and every one of these things. So I always talk about this phase that everyone must go through, the phase of petrification. It's they say dying before you die. It's pretty much what it is, and it's a shadow phase that we all have. It could be anything. It can be from doubt. It can be from having trouble trusting people. It can be from anger, hatred. It can come from anywhere. And this phase is facing the ego, and they call it the phase of Negredo in alchemy. Yes, the dark night of the soul. And we have to remain and become that raven before we become anything else, because we have to look within and set our soul free from all this darkness, all this pain. It seems like everybody got it together, like how they're gradually facing it. You know, some people they dive in and it could become even dangerous and extremely painful. But it's good to see how people are handling it and whatnot. What else do I have to say here? So pretty much all my life I've been dealing with this, because I can speak open about this. I feel good to say so. So all my life, my family and whatnot, they all, you know, turn to drinking, drugs, whatever the case may be. And for some reason, you know, I grow up and notice this. And the only one in my family was me to see all this and bring this change to them. And one by one, they're starting to see, like, wow, you know, these dark energies, entities, they exist and they're not to play with. They will be in your thoughts. They will be, you can't see them unless you want to see them. But I don't think anybody wants to go there, you know? So my invitation facing the dark night of the soul was very intense. Like I spent months and months, you know, out there in the wild, you know, searching within, meditating for hours and hours just to get rid of this residue and darkness that was following me and my family. And it's definitely the first phase that we had to go through, the phase in the Negredo. And once we search within and we go through that cycle, we allow ourselves to clear ourselves from ignorance, and we can hear the voice of our guides and our creator, and etc. And from there, we can plant the seeds of light within us. It's when we set ourselves free. We're no longer only a material body. We're more than that. And when we reach that state, we can plant seeds, and like what's happening now. For this to be even created, someone had to plant a seed, and the seeds are planting everywhere. And there's a seeds of light, the prima materia. I think that's all I had to say for now. Yeah, I'll come up with more soon. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing, bro.
Appreciate you, Melvin.
No problem.
Thank you very much.
That was super insightful.
I really loved what you had to say about dying before you die. Like, I think that's, you know, a similar I mean, not even similar, it's something that we're all experiencing as we're growing. You know, it's a really important point to bring up. We can't really become who we can't become our higher selves or begin to resonate with our higher selves without letting go of all the things that are keeping us in a more narrow perspective, right? It's not about like changing who we were or like rejecting who we were before, but just growing and moving into a wider perspective where we can see ourselves more fully.
Yeah. I would like to read a quote real quick, if you don't
Please.
mind. What hinders men from seeing and hearing God is their own hearing, seeing, and willing. By their own wills, they separate themselves from the will of God. They see and hear within their own desires, which obstructs them from seeing and hearing God. Terrestrial and material things overshadow them, and they cannot see beyond their own human nature. If they would be still, desist from thinking and feeling with their own selfhood, subdue the self-will, enter into a state of resignation, into a divine union with the Christ who sees God and hears God and speaks with him, who knows the word and will of God, then would the internal hearing and seeing and speaking become revealed to them. That was by Jacob Boehme, 1575 CE. You know, when you search up the phase in the Greta, you'll see the story of Buddha, story of Jesus, all these main gurus, teachers who went through the phase.
Absolutely. I think that really also ties back into everything we're talking about too with, you know, I was saying with our demons, they're here for a reason, right? And you know, as we're all extensions of the divine and we're all experiencing the divine, that the demon 1111 the demons themselves are they're here for a purpose as well, right? So if they're here to ask us something or to show us something, it's really important that we're silent enough to listen and to hear it. And I really appreciate you bringing that up, because that's a really important part of this process.
Absolutely. Melvin, and I kind of want to also add to that, man. It's like, it's also like ego death, right? Like crushing your ego, and kind of piggybacking off of what Nick was saying as well, and where we have to, check our ego right there, right before the door, because sometimes it's really, these, I guess the dark side, or the lower versions of ourselves that wants to come in and say that, yeah, we're not good enough for that, or we still need a lot of work done for that, or that wants to stop us from us being great. So definitely shine some light on that, and on soul cleansing, like having this experience in this lifetime, and where like there's things that's been cluttered up from maybe even generations, like we could really take it that deep, but that we just need to cleanse on a soul level to fully elevate, and become our truest selves, like with me, I know veganism totally changed the game, and for me a lot. I felt like personally, like life for me did not start until I became vegan, but maybe I'm only speaking for a very few of us, but I know it was true for me. But I'm gonna put the mic down, guys. Anybody want to pick it up, please? I would love to share your story. Thank you guys for those sharing your story tonight. This is very powerful to be doing that, because I know for me, like I know a lot of people, things like this just won't resonate to the average person. Things like this, like people think like, yo, you guys are weird. Like, what are you guys talking about? But you guys got the open floor right now, guys. I'll mute your mics and share your thoughts.
Yeah, Martin. Honestly, dude, does everyone hear me, by the way?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Hey, I hear you, brother.
Yeah. Awesome, brother. First of all, we need to catch up, Martin. Give me a call sometime soon.
Straight up.
But honestly, for those who don't know me, my name is Jamie Camacho. I come in and out, but I love hearing everyone's stories, just because I relate to is it Marvin, the Light Warrior Buddha?
That just shocked my whole life. But I can't hear you.
What?
Did anybody else hear that just now, or was that
Yeah.
just?
Yeah.
Okay.
Huge, like
Yeah, I heard it too.
Hey, Sam. Looks like the microphone on your end is not working right now, brother. I don't know if you want to check on that, because as soon as you mentioned his you were trying to figure out his name, Melvin's name, we heard a noise, and then like the audio stopped.
That was the shadow self trying to escape.
That was crazy.
Nice. Before we actually move on further, Melvin, I just want to make sure I didn't miss anything when you were talking. And it was Melvin, right?
Yeah.
Okay. It's very nice to meet you, by the way. I'm just curious. So you were talking about your family drinking, but I feel like I might have like missed a sentence after that. Did you say that there was like any issues that arise from that, or you were just talking about your experience with others and their issues?
Growing up, yeah, I definitely had a lot of issues. I grew up with those issues, and it took me a lot of crazy journeys within to overcome them. What made me really stand up for the truth, to seek truth, was seeing seeing what happened to my father, seeing what they really went through, and realizing like, darkness is not by itself, and we're never alone, and that's pretty scary. And I'll be honest with you, the other day I've seen something so intense that I'm still surprised that I'm not even fear in it. I'm able to stand here and continue to look in the shadow's face and tell them I am willing. Well, not willing. Let me see how I can say this. Tell them that, I'm here to reclaim my mind. I'm here to reclaim and help others reclaim their mind. Help them to the shadow phase. When one is willing to see truth, one is willing to rise. One who becomes fearless and wise and not really surprised by death anymore. They are more vulnerable to entities, to energies, to darkness. And you know, it's a very lonely path I've chosen to speak upon this and help others this way, because the vulnerable world I'm now in, I have to protect myself and things like that.
Absolutely. So, do you want to delve into that a little bit with like you're talking about like needing to protect yourself? Is that something that you want to kind of get to investigate?
Yeah. Let's see. Like there's no doubt I'm strong enough to endure it, but I'm also realizing that energetically, I'm going to do my I decided to do my Reiki thing and whatnot on March 25th, 26th, and I'm gonna keep going till I get enough protection and strength and learn every single aspect to get the right protection while I'm even searching within myself. I chant every single day. I meditate every day. I eat well every day. I fast until like 5 p.m. every day. So things are going well. So if there's any other ways that anybody wants to share, I would definitely add it onto my list.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing. Really appreciate it.
Let me see. Add anything to your list. Man, I feel like community is important, bro. I mean, by you getting into Reiki and you helping others with services, and you shine that light, and your wisdom, that's gonna help a lot of people. So if there's any way that I can help maybe take your brand to the next level, I would love to I'll share your work. I'm already, me and, a few of us, we've been in your sessions with meditation. It was powerful. I know some of us in the call could vouch for that. I think Melvin just, getting more involved, being more, getting yourself more out there with the right people, the community, and sharing your voice more, maybe that can help. And of course, brother, we're gonna stay connected. We're out here, So if there's anything else, I can help you out, man, bro. Let me know what's up.
Yeah, and same. We all, like, I guess, with each person, I'm trying to kind of narrow it down to like what's that one thing that we can delve into, right? And I guess with yours, it'd be kind of a lack of protection. I don't know if I'm kind of. Like the only reason I haven't really asked these like pinpoint questions is because I'm still kind of trying to get that the identify, right? The recognize on yours. So if it's a need for protection, I mean, you said you did understand like where that stemmed from in experience, but what is that in yourself that doesn't feel protected? Like, why is it that you have that need? This one's a little trickier for me, so I'm just gonna be open about that with you.
So in terms of protection, basically, I feel like I'm doing everything that I need to do to be protected. It's just I believe, as I seek, the way I seek, I don't stop. I just do not stop. I will stay here 24 hours and make sure I write everything I need to do, and I will keep seeking and seeking and seeking. And I think my problem is just learning how to relax and rest sometimes, because if I'm up at 3 o'clock in the morning, of course something's gonna try to bother me. Yeah, I do agree with Martin as well. I do need to get connected a certain way somehow. I'm always trying things out, seeing what works. If it doesn't work anymore, I let it go. So that's why I'm usually in my solitude. I'm harvesting and allowing the energy to grow for when the time is right. But I feel like I should be sharing it and not, because then it becomes like like my own little planet, like all my information, and I feel like I should share it the way everybody else shares the information with me. So I should be open and available to spread anything, you know, because we all here, we all live within each other, because you can hear everybody speak, and you'll see something resonate. If somebody's going through an ego problem, somebody's going through a bullying problem, you realize that you've been through this before, or you might go through it soon. So we all live through each other a certain way. So we're all here to help each other. I feel like I have to get connected, because the worst, not the worst, the things the darkness fears the most is when people come together. They love when people are alone forever. They like when they're lost, or you know, that's the worst possible thing we can do, is to lose ourselves. So we have to you know, always try to find ourselves and keep seeking and come together as one.
Straight up,
Absolutely.
100%, Melvin, 100%. It's just that whole that collective consciousness, you know, and we're living through it right now. Let me see. Anybody would like to unmute their mics, share your thoughts.
I was gonna say, yeah, like with what Melvin just said, like I remember when I went through like my awakening process, the thing that was like so crippling and scary and terrifying was that I was in it alone, and I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know anybody else that was going through it. I didn't even know what myself was going through. You know, I didn't know what I was going through myself. So it was overwhelming in a frightening sense. And when I did finally like wrap myself around a sense of like community, and when I did finally like start to delve into finding out other people that went through the same things and going through the same things, and you know, seeking out like-minded individuals, the realization that I knew I wasn't alone in that, and that I didn't go through it alone, and that I'm not going through it alone, and that others are still going through it every day, was like a huge metaphorical sigh of relief, and physically too, because I was like, wow, okay, I'm all right. Like I went through all these things, and like I went through the process of quote unquote like enlightenment, and you know, I became aware of all these truths in such a short amount of time, and that shit was scary. And yeah, like when, you know, meeting you, Martin, meeting a whole bunch of other people before that, and just like being exposed to others who have different experiences in that journey, but are so relatable at the same time, was just so soothing and so calming, where it was like I was able to finally get that sense of like um, I don't know, I was just like, okay, I feel like it's like a rest assured type of feeling. I was like, all right, I'm good. I'm not combating the whole world by myself. As dumb as that seems, like of course we're not by ourselves, but at the time, like with these types of scenarios, it can feel that way, and that's where like my anxiety started to kick in, depression, and all these other, you know, issues and stuff like that. And I learned to combat them with that community, with that sense of you know, like-mindedness and unity. So
Absolutely. Um, so, while Nick, while you're talking, Melvin, he wrote something that it was. Let's see. I wrote something down about it. It was about when you're being vulnerable. There's always like that person who's in the shadow, right? Who's ready to learn. And you know, it's kind of like we're all saying, like we're all aspects of one another. I feel, you know, like every person who has said something, at least for me, is something that I can resonate with. Like it's a part of all of us. So Melvin, what you're sharing, this kind of like fear, this lack of protection. I think it's something that we can all relate to as well, and is benefiting us to hear your story. It kind of reminds me of, you know, earlier Kevin said, he said knowing or having that self-love is really that bulletproof. It makes you bulletproof. So I think that when you have people who are lurking in the shadows, like, yes, there are always going to be people who are waiting for when you're vulnerable to strike on you, but I think it's a matter of finding the inner strength to be like, you know what, like, let them lurk, let them hear every single thing. And this is like so much easier said than done, right? Like there's a lot more to be shared. Like, we're kind of just like scratching the surface right now. I'm sure all of us, if we wanted to, could really get into some crazy stuff, but it's just having that strength or courage to be like, you know what, I'm going to tell you guys what's vulnerable. And even if there's somebody in this group who has like the subconscious desire to kind of pounce upon that, like, it's okay, let them, because like, I'm still good with myself. I still am solid. I still am the person that I am. And them kind of hating and wanting to bring me down isn't going to bring me down, because it's not going to change me having what I already have. Like, nobody can take you from yourself, at least not unless you let them. So is anybody else is there anybody here who hasn't spoken, who's just kind of been watching?
Okay, I want to share something really quick about this this particular subject, because it's something that, so I'm working with, he's an energy healer, and I've been working with him for about a month now. And I was talking to him about how, you know, just like, I want to feel safe, I want to feel like protected and all these things. And he was talking to me about, he was telling me, he's like, Haley, I feel like you're trying to avoid pain. Like, you're trying to like keep yourself from being hurt, or you're trying to like, you know, like, you don't want to experience it. And he said the thing is that we're not meant to avoid pain. Like, pain is there because, like, so let's say that you get cut on your side, right? Like, someone, or I don't know, you hit something and it cuts your side, right? So because you're experiencing pain, your body is like, oh, that hurts. It's letting you know that there's something wrong, right? So pain is a good thing. It's just letting us know when there's something wrong, or there's something that we need to work through, there's something that we need to heal. Yeah, it's a form of communication, exactly. And so he was talking about how, like, when we go through pain and we learn from it, then we turn that into wisdom. So when we turn something into wisdom, then we make better choices, we make better decisions based off of wisdom. And from that space, then we don't experience as much pain, because we're moving from a place of wisdom. And so a few tips that he gave me for, like, you know, to feel safe and to feel protected, because that was something that I was really struggling with, as I was like, oh my God, like, I feel so vulnerable to like getting hurt, or to some, like, you know, something like that happening. And, you know, he was talking about like playing music and cleansing my room, like feng shui, like having, you know, good smelling, like essential oils, like all that kind of, you know, through the senses, like using high vibrational things around me to raise it. And he was talking about like that creates a foundation to raise our vibration. So then when we raise our vibration, then lower energies don't affect us, right? Like they can't like penetrate us, because we're on a different frequency as them. So something that also like kind of helped me with shifting my mindset is the law of, what is it? Oh, I don't know. It slipped from my mind. It's basically like, as above, so below, as within, so without. So
Cause and effect?
because of that, what's up?
Was it cause and effect? No.
No, I think it starts with a C. The law of,
Correspondence?
Yes, law of correspondence. So it's basically just talking about how like everything, like nothing is really outside of us. So there's nothing to fear. There's nothing to be afraid of. Because even if we get hurt on a physical level, emotional level, whatever it is, in the short term it hurts now, but in the long term, like in the grand scheme of things, like when we move on from this life, it doesn't matter. It's just part of the experience. It's not good nor bad. It's just part of life. So yeah, I just wanted to share that little bit with you guys.
Thank you. Is there anybody else who wants to share something that they would like to work through? I know Ariel said that you said that you're lurking, and Livy, if I'm remembering correctly, you just joined today, right? I think I remember Mike saying.
Yeah. I just joined today, but I was going through this for a while by myself, and I just saw a shaman on Thursday, and she did an amazing job, but I'm just still in that kind of lag phase where I just feel dehydrated and like my throat's swollen, and I'm just like getting all the crap out.
Absolutely.
But it was just really nice because I literally thought I was crazy, and just from seeing her, I was able to sit down and talk to my parents. I was pretty much born awake, if you want to call it that, or woke, as some of the people around here like to say it. And just to keep that in as a child caused me a lot of pain, especially with my throat chakra and communication and my heart. So I'm just getting that all now. So that's like 30 years of compressed pain that I've just been releasing. And it feels great, but it comes with releasing pain like that. It comes with a lot of symptoms. And that's something I'm learning about now.
Wow. Well, I can totally relate to a lot of what you said, and I mean, like, it's funny because I only see a picture of you and I can hear the words you're saying, but I definitely feel that you're already strongly connected to this group, and I'm extremely grateful to have you here. It's I relate to what you're saying on the level where, I don't feel like maybe I was awake since birth. There was, I think mine happened more during my teenage years, but even so, having that experience where when I was younger and couldn't communicate, I understand how painful that is. And I just want to let you know, I'm so happy that you've come to this group, because something that it's given me is like a place where I'm just able to be myself on that level, and everybody's so open to it and willing to just welcome it and to help me expand on that. And I think that if that's something that you need in your life, it's been a blessing that you've come to this group, because and I'm sure everybody else really wants to help you express your gift to the fullest extent possible.
No, that's awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And Ariel, I don't know if you'd like to share anything. If you're still on here. Okay.
I'm here. Hi. Can you hear me?
Hi. Yeah.
Hi. Cool. I'm kind of going through the same thing Libby is. I went to a Reiki master last Saturday, probably, and I've always been woke, always been a healer, and my parents didn't really correspond with that. So they kind of snuffed out the light, maybe, and always made me feel like that's not who you are, So I'm just working on my inner child right now and being my true self, and it's a pretty amazing journey.
I love it. I love that you said that you're working on your inner child, you work on yourself, because that's ultimately when we're born, when our when our soul entered this vessel, we're essentially that inner child, right? We came from a seed, and from that seed, right? And then we germinate, we grow, we become better or become worse. And I feel like with meditation, mindfulness, and just getting involved in working on yourself and personal developing yourself to become better. That always works, you know. Especially surrounding yourself with people that gets you, that understands you, and that wants to grow with you. Then that's even better. So thank you for sharing, Ariel. I know. I think Nick might have invited you. So salute, and you're probably vegan. Are you? I know you're coming. Everybody that Nick knows is is freaking vegan. So
Shout out
yeah,
Ariel and Brandon. They're both vegan as fuck.
hey V gang,
Awesome.
V gang.
Very cool.
Cool,
Well,
guys. Thank you all for.
Ariel, while you're talking about, just trying to find that inner child, is there anything in that you'd like to investigate while we're having this workshop?
I don't know if I need to investigate, but I mean, if other people do, something that helped me was recognizing the feelings maybe that I was having as a child, which pertains to it, and being able to recognize those feelings and emotions and put them in a place where I don't need them, and I know that I don't need them, but to know that I have access to them if they need to come up, if I ever need to bring anything up or bring anything out of it, that I can. And I think it's just important to have that, to be able to separate all the negativity in your childhood with the positivity, so you can live your positive truth but still have access to your negative truth if you need it.
Absolutely. Kind of, I don't know if you meant this at all, but I kind of heard like, when we're a child, there's like all these emotions, and I guess when we're younger and we don't understand ourselves as well, they might be a little like more suppressed. And now it's like, now that you have that further understanding, consciousness, you're able to revisit those emotions and like utilize them at this point in your life. I don't know. Is that something that you feel is like a fitting statement, or? Hello? I don't know. Okay, well.
I think I don't know. I think Ariel's muted right now, but.
Oh.
How am I muted?
Oh, there you go. There you go. All right.
Okay.
Okay. Yes. Your question, yes, no. Can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can hear you. Wait, now I can't. I don't know if she's talking or not, but I can't hear it now.
Yeah, I think it's going like in and out.
So strange. Ariel, check. There should be like a button with the mute button. Does yours say muted right now?
No.
Click it.
Oh, okay.
Now,
So now I can hear you.
Can you hear me? I don't know where my speaker is on my laptop.
Okay. If you want to try saying what you were saying one more time, I'd really love to hear it.
Oh, yes, I agree with you. Just being able to access those emotions that you experienced as a child and kind of relive them. It's almost like a rebirthing, where you're rebirthing into not this new person, but kind of who you always were, but still having access to those old emotions, I guess.
Absolutely, because they were always a part of you, right? It's just now we have the perspective that allows us to understand that part of ourselves, and we understand how important it is now, because not being able to understand it then was probably a very painful thing. So we understand how much relief it can bring us to gain that wider understanding.
Absolutely, yes.
Wow. Thank you for sharing. Is there anybody else who would like to share anything while we're on this call? Okay. Well, you know what, something if Preston does, he says, I'm going to take a sip of water and, I'll bring this to a conclusion if nobody else throws anything else while I'm having this. So I'm going to take my water, and if nobody else wants to add anything by the time I'm done, I'm just going to throw some final words in and we can end the call.
Guys, thank you all for joining in and investing your time into this call. You guys can do anything with your time. You guys can be anywhere, do whatever you want in your life right now. But we're learning, we're growing, and we're just vibing. That's what it's all about. We want to create a community where we have something and where we can grow from, right? Like, we all have our own endeavors. We all have our own definition to what success is. But, of course, like me, and I know many of you can relate, like, I know, like, for me, I don't relate to a lot of people around where I'm from. But I know across the town, I know, like, I got 3 friends that just understands me, or I got people out in California that understands me, or I got people out in Rochester, New York, where Melanie is at, that understands me, right? Or New Brunswick, or the other side of Jersey, right? But I feel like it's important that we all just grow and we all exchange value. Like today, Melanie wanted to speak on something that resonates with so many people, and she shared her story with me, and I was like, wow, like, that's very powerful. So to have a platform where we can share our voice and share our thoughts and bring up things that just freaking matter. That's what that's at the end of the day, that's what's important. And we can be the change by not only talking about it and throwing the problem up there, but to be about it as well and coming together. So Nick Box, you got any last things you want to go over, wrap up before we end the call tonight, brother?
No, I mean, I wanted to say thank you to everybody for showing up. I think it's just great that, like, we can get this level of engagement with so many different people from all over, at the same time, and we can, kind of express ourselves and make ourselves, or like allow ourselves to be vulnerable in the moment and share that with, some people that we may know, some people that we may not know, but it's just that feeling of just, getting it out there in the open and freely speaking about it comfortably. I think that's paramount to our growth and our self-development as a unique individual, and in our journey to become better versions of ourselves than what we were just prior to that, or the day before, or the month before, or what have you. It's all about that progress everything in life. Without it, we're stagnant, and just everything that we're doing and everything that we're saying and why we're here now and everything, it's indicative of progress. And I love it. I'm all about it. So I just want to thank you, everybody, you and everybody else here, for sharing and hopping on. And I guess with that, like, Melanie, you want to wrap up and say your closing.
Absolutely, yes. Before I do, I just want to ask if there's anybody who did speak who feel like they didn't get to say everything that they wanted to say, or is everybody's good?
I want to say one thing. I just want to say one thing. As we do these things, as we come together as a group and as a community, like, I don't know about you guys, but I feel like I had a huge weight lifted off my shoulders, because I'm like, wow, I'm really not alone in this. I feel like I went through a healing process in this. And as we heal individually, as we heal together, not only are we healing, like, as this group, as this collective, we're healing the entire world. We're healing past generations, and we're healing future generations as well. So we're doing what we need to be doing. So I'm grateful for this. Like, it's incredible to be able to do this. So thank you guys for showing up, for being who you are, for being vulnerable, for everything. Melanie, thank you for bringing this to the table. And yeah, so that's what I have to say. So thank you guys.
Yeah. Okay, guys, I'm gonna wrap this up. I wrote some things I wanted to say at the end. I'll try to keep it short. First of all, I just, I met a bunch of new people tonight as well, and I'm just so blown away. We are with a group of people who are both like, you guys are so sincere, and you have values, and you have respect, and you're powerful, and there's just so many amazing things that I could say about all of you. And I just want to say I'm humbled and honored to be able to share tonight with you. And I just hope you guys know that those really aren't just words, because the fact that I'm able to, I've always really loved this process of just diving in, asking why, going further and further. And the fact that I can share something that has always been a part of who I am with you, and have that help me grow, help you guys grow, and as Haley said, help the whole world grow. It's just such a magical thing to be a part of. And I'm forever grateful to you guys for just allowing this to be. And I guess a few final words, that I have on that beyond that is just, you know, you guys, it definitely takes vulnerability, as we've all said. You know, this isn't just a thank you for sharing. Like, thank you for being vulnerable, for doing what's necessary to allow growth to happen. It's only because we are all coming together, and you know, we're trying to not be that person that's lurking. Like, you know, we could easily be like, hey, like, I'm just gonna put this person down because they share that, but we don't have the mentality. First of all, because we know it's not really gonna get us anywhere, and that's not gonna bring us any true power anyway, right? But also because it's bettering all of us, and it's making us all stronger to be willing to sit with these things. So I hope that everybody got something out of tonight. I hope that everybody is feeling stronger, more empowered, and more in tune with that self-love that makes you bulletproof. That is pretty much all I have to say on this, but it's really been a blessing to have tonight happen, and thank you.